Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling, well, maybe the most urgent timeline in modern economic history. Seriously.
We're not talking years down the road. We're talking about the next 3 years, roughly.
Right. The pace of artificial intelligence transformation is just staggering. It's led EON Reality to coin this term, the 1,000-day window.
And look, if your job involves, thinking, analyzing data, writing code, customer service, even legal work, you really need to listen up.
Because the idea is, within those 1,000 days, maybe 3 years, give or take, AI could basically commoditize huge chunks of white-collar work.
Yeah, this isn't your standard slow-burn technological unemployment. It's fundamental, a major economic shift, and it's happening now. The urgency is real.
Okay, so let's get into it. Our mission today is to explore a pretty radical solution proposed for this mess, a new digital utility currency. It's called Knowledge Bit, or KB.
And the whole point of KB is to anchor economic value somewhere new specifically in verified learning and human skills development, shifting away from just labor.
Exactly. And our goal for you, listening, is to really unpack the framework behind this. The Knowledge Bit white paper proposes ditching GDP.
Ditching GDP entirely, yeah. Replacing it with something called the mind framework. The idea is that mind can measure sort of civilizational health in this coming post-labor world.
Okay, let's set the stage first. Why the drastic measures? Why a whole new framework? The research points to 4 immediate threats from this 1,000-day window.
Well, first, the obvious one, mass unemployment. AI doing cognitive tasks better than humans.
Second, economic instability. If wage income craters and our whole modern economy is built on wages, what happens?
Third, you get potential social upheaval. And fourth, critically, a massive fiscal crisis. Think about it. Tax revenues are overwhelmingly tied to people working and earning. If that shrinks,
governments are suddenly broke. Okay, so why can't we just, use the tools we already have? What's wrong with GDP?
Well, the critique of GDP is pretty harsh. It was designed back in the 1930s, right, for an industrial economy.
Makes sense. Different world.
Totally. It's got a production bias, counts output, even if it makes us miserable. And its whole structure assumes human labor generates wages, which generates value. That assumption is breaking.
And there's that really weird twist, the abundance paradox the source mentions. Can you explain that again?
Right. So imagine AI makes fantastic things. Personalized education, medical diagnostics, custom goods almost free. That genuinely makes us all richer, more prosperous, right?
Yeah, absolutely. More access, less cost. Sounds good.
But because the price of those goods and services drops towards zero, GDP, which measures the value of transactions, might actually fall.
So we look poorer on paper, even though we're actually better off in real terms. That's measuring the wrong thing completely.
Exactly. It's tracking transactions, not actual well-being or capability.
Okay, so GDP is out.
Yeah.
What about the usual fallback universal basic income, UBI? Everyone talks about it when AI job losses come up.
The analysis calls UBI an illusion, basically. The numbers just don't work at the scale needed.
How bad are the numbers?
Okay, just giving $16,000 a year, not exactly a fortune to every single adult in the U.S., that's over $5 trillion annually.
$5 trillion. How does that compare to, say, total tax revenue?
It's more than the entire federal tax revenue collected today. And people say, tax corporations. Well, total U.S. corporate profits are around $1 trillion a year, still way short.
So the money just isn't there under the current system. And the source also argues UBI creates dependency, right, without actually fixing the productivity issue.
Right. It's a patch, not a solution that generates new value in this AI-driven economy.
But wait, the problem gets even deeper, doesn't it? Something about how money itself is created, the money creation problem.
Yes, this is huge and often missed. Can you break down that debt-money link simply? Because if banks need my future paycheck to create loans and AI might erase my paycheck, what happens then?
It's a fundamental point. Ever since we left the gold standard, most money in Western economies is created through debt.
How does that work exactly?
Well, when a bank issues you a loan for a house, a car, whatever, they literally create new money. They don't just lend out existing deposits.
Okay.
But that creation is based on the promise that you will work, earn wages, and pay it back. Yeah. Your future labor is the implicit backing, or a company's future earnings. Same idea.
I see. So if AI drastically reduces the value of human labor or eliminates millions of jobs,
then the foundation for creating new money just evaporates.
Yeah.
The whole mechanism that injects liquidity into the economy, it just breaks down. You can't reliably create value-linked money anymore.
Wow. Okay. So the old system is fiscally broken,
Yeah.
can't fund UBI, and the way we create money is threatened. We desperately need a new compass, which brings us to mind.
Right. Section 2. The mind framework. You said is less like GDP and more like a health dashboard.
Exactly. It's positioned as a diagnostic tool for civilization's health, drawing from this book, The Last Economy. It's not just about dollars and cents.
Hold on, though. Replacing GDP. That's been the economic metric for, what, 90 years? That sounds incredibly ambitious. Why do they think mind could actually take hold?
Well, the argument is it's born of necessity. GDP measures transactional output, right? How much stuff we buy and sell.
Yeah.
Mind aims to measure civilizational survival. Think about it.
Yeah.
You could max out GDP while wrecking your environment or losing all your essential knowledge. That's failure, even if GDP looks good.
So mind tracks the things we actually need to survive and thrive long term. What are the components? M-I-N-D.
Right. M is for materials.
Right.
Pretty straightforward. Physical resources, energy, infrastructure, the basics, still vital.
Got it. I guess 4.
Intelligence, and this is the big shift in the AI age. It covers human knowledge, creativity, education, skills,
Yeah.
but also AI capabilities themselves. The source argues this is becoming the dominant form of wealth.
Okay. N.
Network, this is about connectivity. Social networks, digital infrastructure, trade relationships, communication systems. It determines how fast and how far intelligence and resources can spread.
Makes sense. Speed and scale. And finally, D.
Diversification.
Yep.
Economic variety, adaptability, redundancy, having multiple ways to do things, multiple industries. This builds resilience against shocks, whether it's a pandemic or a major tech disruption.
M-I-N-D. Materials, intelligence, network, diversification. And the core idea is you need all 4.
Critically, yes, the insight is stark. If any one of those pillars collapses, drops to 0, the entire civilization fails. Doesn't matter how strong the others are.
That's sobering. Okay, but wait. You said earlier that knowledge bit, the currency, strengthens all 4 pillars. I get how it boosts intelligence paying for courses.
Yeah.
But how does KB fix, say, the materials pillar? That seems like a stretch.
It's an indirect but powerful link. KB directly funds intelligence, yes,
Right.
but that intelligence is then applied to the other pillars.
Example.
Okay, take advanced manufacturing.
Right.
KB can pay for someone to get trained using, say, an immersive XR welding simulation. That person becomes highly skilled, really fast,
Right, boost their eyes.
and that skill directly improves the materials pillar better. More efficient use of materials, less waste, higher quality construction, better energy management in factories. It strengthens M by upgrading the human skill applied to it. Same logic applies to network and diversification.
Ah, okay. So the intelligence gained via KB is the leverage point to improve the other areas. Got it. So the crisis demands a new metric, Mind D, and Mind needs a new value engine, KB. Let's dive into knowledge bit itself now. Section 3. What is KB, fundamentally?
Fundamentally, knowledge bit is defined as a utility-based digital currency. Its whole purpose is to turn specific actions, learning, contributing knowledge, providing useful AI compute power into real economic value.
Utility-based. So the key difference from, say, Bitcoin is that it's designed to be used for something specific, not just held as an asset.
Precisely. It's explicitly contrasted with speculative tokens. It's built for circulation within a skills economy.
Okay, so how do you get it? How do you earn KB?
It's designed to be pretty straightforward. 3 main ways. First, proof of learning. You complete verified courses, pass skill assessments, hit milestones, you earn KB.
Like getting paid to learn.
Essentially, yes. Second, proof of contribution. If you create valuable educational content, maybe build a simulation, write a great tutorial, mentor others, you can earn KB based on its use and quality.
Okay. And the third?
Proof of useful compute. The AI and the network itself need processing power. If you provide verified, useful computing resources to the network, you can earn KB for that.
Earned by learning, contributing, or computing. And then, how do you spend it? Where does it go?
You spend it entirely within that skills ecosystem, on accessing AI-powered courses, using those immersive XR labs we mentioned, getting globally recognized certifications, paying for compute credits if you need them, even accessing job placement tools.
So it's a closed loop almost. Earn KB through skills, spend KB on skills, and accessing work that requires those skills.
That's the core idea, a self-contained, self-reinforcing skills economy.
And this idea isn't brand new. You mentioned a UN connection.
Yeah, surprisingly, the seed of the idea goes back to 2014. EON Reality apparently proposed something at the UN about pegging education costs to a global standard, kind of like the Big Mac Index, to make comparisons fair.
Interesting. So why launch KB now in 2025?
Three main reasons highlighted. First, regulatory clarity around digital assets is finally starting to emerge, at least enough to navigate. Second, the enabling tech AI, XR, blockchain is mature enough to handle this at scale.
And third,
Urgency, that 1,000-day window. The need for mass reskilling isn't theoretical anymore. It's seen as an existential necessity. The timing makes sense because the problem is immediate.
okay, if this KB system is going to underpin a new kind of economy, it needs serious infrastructure.
Ah.
How does EON Reality actually plan to make this work? The white paper mentions a four-pillar ecosystem.
Right, they built out a whole system to give KB real-world value. Pillar 1 is the skills, jobs, income platform.
What does that do?
Think of it as a decentralized marketplace. It connects people with verified skills directly to companies or individuals needing those skills for specific projects or microcontracts. The key is the instant blockchain-verified credentials. Employers can trust the skills listed are real.
Removes friction in hiring. Okay, pillar 2.
The virtual campus. This is where the learning happens. It provides AI tutors, those advanced XR simulations for hands-on fields, medicine, engineering, technical trades. The claim is it offers this at a tiny fraction of traditional university costs.
Replacing million-dollar physical labs with VR headsets and software, basically.
That's the idea. Think welding, robotics, complex machinery operations simulations.
Pillar 3.
Course Genius and Integrity Suite. This addresses content creation and trust. Course Genius uses AI to help generate curricula quickly. The Integrity Suite is about anti-fraud AI, proctoring for exams, behavioral monitoring to ensure it's really you learning, plus cryptographic IP protection for course creators.
Got to prevent cheating if the credentials are going to have value. Makes sense. And the last pillar, number 4. The skills-built SPV. Sounds financy.
It is. SPV stands for Special Purpose Vehicle. Basically, it's a specialized financing mechanism.
Why do you need that? Is this about funding the training?
Exactly. Think about it. How do millions of people afford to reskill, especially if they just lost their job? This SPV allows impact investors, governments, maybe even corporations, to invest directly in human potential.
So they fund someone's training through KB.
And in return, they might get a small percentage of that person's future increased income for a limited time. It uses income-sharing agreements and blends different types of capital to fund workforce transformation without putting the debt burden on the individual learner up front.
It turns skills into an investable asset class. That's a really different way of thinking about education funding.
It is. It treats human potential as something you can invest in, like infrastructure.
Okay, that whole four-pillar system sounds comprehensive. Let's make it real. The sources give examples. Tell me about Marcus in Ohio.
Right, Marcus. He's presented as a typical case, a 38-year-old logistics worker, job displaced by AI automation. Understandably, pretty scared about his future.
So instead of just unemployment benefits?
He receives a grant of 500 KOB. But it's not just cash, it's tied to action. It directs him into the virtual campus. Reskilling becomes his job.
What did he learn?
He took an AI logistics course. As he hit learning milestones, he earned another 200 KB. Then, using the Skills Jobs income platform...
He found work.
Exactly. He landed a new role as an AI supply chain analyst. And because his skills were instantly verifiable on the blockchain, the source says he started at a 30% higher pay than his old job. That's the pathway.
That's a powerful individual story. What about institutions? There was a community college example.
Yes, Central Valley Community College in California. They started accepting KB for payment in some of their technical certification programs.
And the result?
A reported 300% jump in enrollment in those tech programs within a year. And this is key. They saved $2 million in capital costs because they used XR simulations for things like welding and robotics instead of buying expensive new physical lab equipment.
Wow, big savings. Plus more students train in relevant skills. What about globally? The Carlos example from Mexico City.
Right, Carlos. He was a robotics engineer. He used the Course Genius tool Pillar 3 to create an advanced robotics course.
And people took it.
Thousands. The source says he earned 5 KB for each enrollment and got 8,000 learners globally. That income stream allowed him to quit his corporate job and become a full-time educational entrepreneur.
Earning twice his old salary, apparently. So it's not just about reskilling for employment, but also enabling a kind of skills creator economy.
Exactly, creating potentially millions of distributed skill-based income streams worldwide.
Okay, let's shift to the design of KB itself. Section 5. What makes it fundamentally different from other cryptocurrencies? You mentioned anti-speculation.
Yes, several key design features aim for that. First, activity-based issuance. KB isn't mined with massive energy waste or staked speculatively. It's only minted created when someone provably learns, contributes knowledge, or provides useful compute.
So its creation is tied directly to productive activity within the ecosystem.
Correct. It anchors the supply to real-world value generation. Second, the utility-first model. Services within the ecosystem are priced in regular currency, like US dollars.
Okay.
But you always get a guaranteed discount, say 10%, 20% if you pay using KB. This gives KB predictable baseline utility value. It's always worth at least that discount on essential services.
Smart. It creates a constant demand floor based on its usefulness, not just speculation. Now, what about hoarding? If it's valuable, won't people just sit on it?
That's where the third feature comes in, demurrage. Specifically for the grant-based KB, the kind given to people like Marcus to kickstart their reskilling.
Right, the 500 KB he received. What's a demurrage? It sounds like a penalty.
It kind of is. It's like a negative interest rate. That grant KB expires if it's not used within a set period, like 12 or 24 months.
Why do that? Why make money disappear?
To force circulation. It ensures the grant money is used for its intended purpose, learning and skill development, quickly. It prevents hoarding and keeps the currency flowing as a utility, especially during that critical 1,000-day window when rapid adaptation is needed. It has to be velocity, not just value.
Got it. Use it or lose it, specifically for the stimulus grants. Okay, this all sounds theoretically neat, but the real world, especially the US, has regulators. Compliance must be a huge hurdle.
Oh, absolutely. They emphasize a very deliberate US-first compliance strategy.
What does that involve?
Standard stuff first. Registering as a money services business, MSB, with FinCEN, implementing strong Know Your Customer, KYC, and anti-money laundering AML procedures. That's table stakes.
But the tricky part is the token classification, right? Is it a security?
That's the crucial battleground. They're focused hard on ensuring KB qualifies as a utility token, not a security under the Howey test.
Why is that distinction so vital?
Because if it's deemed a security, it falls under complex SEC regulations designed for investments, which would completely stifle its use as an everyday medium of exchange for educational services. It needs to be treated as a utility, like an arcade token or a software license, to function as intended.
And they're pursuing state-level licenses, too.
Yes, rolling out state money transmitter licenses gradually, which is necessary to operate legally in different workforce development programs across the U.S. Compliance is clearly front and center.
And governance. Who controls this thing?
Transparency seems to be the goal. They list several bodies: an EON core council, an external advisory board, an integrity council specifically for policing fraud and ethics, and plans for a phased-in community assembly. Plus, commitments to quarterly transparency reports and third-party audits.
Building trust is paramount if you're essentially proposing a new form of money.
Absolutely, especially one tied so directly to people's skills and livelihoods.
Okay, let's zoom out. What's the big, audacious goal here? The long-term vision EON has for KB.
It's massive. They talk about onboarding 1 billion people globally into what they call the Human 2.0 economy.
Human 2.0, what does that mean in practice?
It means shifting individuals from just being employees dependent on a single job to becoming more like self-directed entrepreneurial agents, people who use AI, use the network, use their verified skills to create and sustain their own income streams flexibly. Proprietor agents is a term used.
So empowering individuals to navigate the AI economy directly, rather than just hoping for a safety net.
That's the vision. A more resilient, adaptable, skilled global population.
Okay, let's try to wrap this up. If I had to summarize the core argument for knowledge bid, it's basically money created by people, not by debt, earned through learning, not just labor, and designed specifically for navigating this AI-driven shift towards skills, jobs, and sustainable income. Is that fair?
That captures it well. It aims to bypass what they see as the broken debt-labor cycle of the old industrial age and build an economy directly on verifiable human capital on intelligence.
So the final thought from the source material. It leaves us with a pretty stark choice, doesn't it?
It does. The white paper basically concludes by saying, look, the 1,000-day window is closing fast. The default options seem to be adapt within the old braking system and likely face massive disruption and upheaval.
Or try to build something entirely new.
Right. And they position knowledge bit as that third option. Not just adapting, not just coping, but potentially thriving by making human intelligence and skills the actual currency of the future. A way to build, as they say, the last economy.
A provocative thought indeed. Adapt, face upheaval, or build something new centered on learning itself. Lots to think about there.